Happy Devils Wednesday. This is State of the Fan Address, episode 196. Where's it 195? I think it's 195. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Pucks and Pitchforks blog editor-in-chief Nick Villano. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. And recently, the best reviewed Devils podcast in the last week in Apple Podcasts. Thank you for all your reviews, everybody. And Nick, I'm sorry, I lied. I was supposed to debut our new bumper music, and then I just realized I'd never put it in. Into the machine. Sam. Like an idiot, it'll be next week. I'm just going to hold everybody hostage. I don't know if I should say that word, but hold everybody till next week. We'll big reveal of the bumper music. But before we begin, Nick, I do the major introduction of our pucksandpitchforks.com editor-in-chief. You and I were talking in the green room, the Andy Green Room, that that February 25th, Devils Flyers, the $500,000 party that we're going to throw at American Whiskey. They don't even know it yet. It's starting. Ooh. It's starting to come into fruition. So I want everybody to save that date, February 25th.
So it's Devils at Flyers at American Whiskey?
No, it's Devils versus Flyers.
Oh, okay. Okay. I misheard you. Sorry.
Maybe I did say it. I don't know. Nick,
okay.
It's been a long day.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Yeah, I'm fighting a cold. No, nothing crazy. None of those wild viruses out there. It's just the common cold that still exists. And your editor-in-chief fighting one today.
You're gutting it out. It's kind of like the Michael Jordan flu game years ago that you had to make that 8:30 p.m. Eastern, that Wednesday time slot that you've been begging for, to not have a Devils game in the middle of the podcast.
Like, for so long.
Yeah.
We went 3 weeks in a row with a game. This is wild.
Yeah. So.
But did they win last week? Who did they play last week?
Oh, I don't even remember. Oh my goodness!
The past two games have been?
Oh no,
wild.
it was against the Bruins.
No, it wasn't the Bruins. It was on TNT though, I think.
The Penguins? No. Oh, I'm brain dead. Oof. They did win though.
I think they won. I think they came back or something, or maybe they. I don't know. Devils are playing well though. We're playing well over the past week, 2 weeks really. It's an unsustainable set of winning. You can't keep going down by 2 goals and winning, but to do that to the New York Rangers the other night, what a game. Coming back, winning in overtime, Damon Severson playing hero, and then last night, Sam, what a dreadful way to play for 35 minutes. And then what a performance by Dawson Mercer, basically scoring 2 very similar goals. Just running and gunning towards the net, putting it in the 5-hole. I know one was wrapped around coming from behind the net. The other one was just straight shot towards the center. But the Devils were playing on the rookies' 5-hole all night because Jesper Boquist also scored in the 5-hole. There's so much good to take out of last night's game because every single goal came from secondary scoring. You had 2 from Dawson Mercer. You had 1 from Jesper Boquist, I think he went 24 games without a point or something crazy. Like, crazy. And then you have Jonas Siegenthaler just with one of the weirdest goals you'll see all season. Just the bounce. You know, we talked about how the bounces weren't going the Devils' way for a long time. That's a bounce that makes up for about 3 games. Where you throw it at the goalie's pad when he's up against the post, and it bounces in perfectly up against where that little space is between his foot and the net is. What a goal. But Dawson Mercer, what a game. It was huge. What were your thoughts after that Carolina game?
Well, the 4 unanswered goals, I guess Nico Heischer's goal really wouldn't count, but the Mercer, Boquist, and then Mercer goals, you know what all 3 goals had in common?
5-hole?
They went hard to the net.
Yeah.
Straight to the net. They did not get fancy schmancy. They went straight hard to the net. Paying the price too. I mean, Dawson Mercer almost looked like Bobby Orr there when he had to get out of the way after scoring. So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
There
Sorry,
are
that was
some-
the cough button. I actually
No
had to
worries.
use
No,
the
you're
cough
fine.
button. Are you spreading it to me right now?
Apparently. That's
Yeah.
how it works. There's a lot to take away from this game. I actually wrote about the power play after this game. And you don't want to write about anything negative after such a big win. I think Vinny's got one in the bank that'll probably come up either after this podcast or tomorrow morning about Dawson Mercer. I saw him writing it earlier. So I'll let him talk about the positives. You got to let Vinny Parisi talk about the positives. But I looked at that power play and just how dreadful it was. And I looked at the stats, and they were really surprising, Sam. Because, and this is on pucksandpitchforks.com right now, because I wrote about why I want Jack Hughes to double shift every single power play. Jack Hughes should be on the first unit and in the second unit. Do you remember back in the day when they used to do that with Kovalchuk?
Yeah. I mean,
And
Ovechkin does that too, if I'm not
It's
mistaken.
powerful.
Yeah.
And I know that Kovalchuk and Ovechkin are very similar type players, while Jack Hughes is a completely different player. But he's played 2-minute shifts. I don't want to say often, but he's done it. He's done it with
7.
some regularity. Yeah, he did a north of 6-minute shift once. So yeah, I think he can handle this type of workload. You'd have to play it around with it. You can't do like a double minor where he plays 4 minutes, or you can't do, if there's back-to-back penalties, you have to be smart about it. But I think on the regular, when it's a random 2-minute power play in the middle of the second period, you play them all 2 minutes. And here's why I think that. They're not using him correctly on the first power play. And it's because there's too much talent. It's a weird thing, but because the Devils have so much talent on the power play, on the first unit, it's not working.
That's an interesting assessment. Tell me why.
So Jack Hughes has the most shots on the power play, right? He has 44 shots with the man advantage. He has 5 goals, which is well under his normal shooting percentage. And he has 9 individual high danger chances. So doing the math, he has 9 individual high danger chances on 44 shots. So he felt the need to shoot the puck on the net, hitting the goalie at some point or hitting the net those 5 times. He shot it, but only 9 times was from a high danger area. In conjunction, Nico Hischier has 31 shots on the power play, 24 individual high danger chances. He has 15 more than Jack Hughes, your best player by far. That is not because of skill level or ability or what they're doing with the puck or how they're treating the power play. That is because of how they use those 2 players on the man advantage. Jack Hughes plays catch with Dougie Hamilton on the power play. They play catch. They pass it to each other, I have to say, 70% of the time. If there's a pass on the power play, it's between Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes. Maybe I'm overstating that because I don't have that exact stat. But every time I'm looking, they're passing back and forth. They're not getting near to the net. They're not getting in tight. Like you said, getting pucks in deep, getting in tight. They're keeping it, and they're prioritizing possession. And we've talked about the Devils prioritizing possession before when we talked about Eric Halla and why he's still on Jack Hughes' line because they prioritize possession. But when you look at it, it's not working. on the power play. So if you want to keep using on the first unit because you want to hold, I'll get to you in 1 sec. But if you want to keep using on the first unit because the first unit has so much talent you could overcome that, fine. You want to kind of get those Dougie Hamilton shots. You want to get the puck to your best shooters, and Hamilton is a great shooter. But on the second unit, Severson is nowhere near that player. And you don't have anybody of Jack Hughes' caliber to carry the puck like that. So you just keep losing it, and they get a 2-on-1. But now, Sam, you can make your point.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment. I want to add to it, actually. So I actually agree with your assessment. I agree that Jack should double shift and play PP1 and PP2 to maximize his presence. I think that's a given. Obviously, he can handle it. A little bit of your assessment. What's missing on the Devils' power? Let's talk about PP1. They're not getting inside. Bastion's not on PP1 right now. So what's happening is what I like to say. Well, I like to say it, but I can't say it because it's very derogatory. But they're just fiddling with the puck a little too much on PP1. It goes with your assessment of too much talent. I think more of they don't have Bastion in front of the net in order to maximize their talents or at least put their talents to good use. Because again, if Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes is passing back and forth 70% of the time, like how you were describing it, they're playing that perimeter game, which I don't like. And secondly, Dougie Hamilton, again, I've been very critical of in the past couple weeks. His game is a little bit, his defensive game, it's a little bit suspect, causing a lot of 2-on-1s going the other way, shorthanded. And last night, Devils got exposed by one of the better teams in the league. Actually, probably one of the elite teams in the league. So that was exposed.
Absolutely a top 4 team in the league.
I think I'm not worried about PP1 once Bastion comes back, because that's where Bastion is so valuable. Okay, they're without their grinder out there, and I'm surprised they can't find anybody else but Bastion to play that role in front of the goaltender. But it's a distraction in front of the crease. Secondly, Jack Hughes putting him on PP2. I'd like to start doing that more towards the end of the season so we don't burn out the kid.
He's
Not
21.
saying, he may have an endless motor, but you want to keep him fresh when the last 2 weeks of the season, where the standings may lie, where you want to get, home ice advantage. But then again, in this case, I want the Devils to 8th seed because of their road warrior tendencies right now. But
You want them to Los Angeles Kings it?
yeah. So basically, I was adding to your observation. I agree with you on that.
I just think it's wild how many high danger chances Nico has compared to Jack Hughes. Like, that's wild. The person who's second on the team in high danger chances of the power play is Miles Wood, which I have to imagine all came in the beginning of the season because this just second unit just isn't playing well. And he's been on that second unit. And I don't even hate Wood on that second unit because I think he knows what to do with the puck better lately. But do you know their second unit last night was Andre Palat, Eric Holla, Miles Wood, Damon Severson. I'm missing one person. It's escaping me. It's in the article, but it's not Igor Sharangovich and Dawson Mercer, who both should be on that unit. And Alexander Holtz is in the press box, or the owner's box. Also should be on that unit. Ideally, I would do either Sharangovich or Holtz, and then Mercer, Palat, Hughes, and Severson. Listen, they're giving 2-on-1s anyway. Why not just put 5 forwards out there? Sharangovich, Mercer, Mercer, Hughes, Palat, and then Wood. I don't like Zetterlund on there. They put him in there to play the Bastion role, but he's just not. That's not his game. I thought it could be, but it just hasn't worked out that way. I think that could work. And then Tatar, maybe you put Tatar on the second unit, but Tatar hasn't been great on the power play, so maybe you want him on the first unit. You know what I mean? Like, they've tried a couple different things, but they tried it in short term. I remember Bratt went to the second unit, and you don't want to put your best players in the second unit unless there are on the first unit, because the first unit's going to play about a minute 20 of the power play, and the other unit's going to play 40 seconds. And they're trying to set up within that 40 seconds, so at best you have 30 seconds of actual power play time, right? So I don't think you want to take Bratt off the first line or take Nico Hischier off the first line or put Dougie Hamilton on the second line. I think you want those best players out there, but to maximize it, I think you need to put Hughes on the second line as well.
Thinking the playoffs, how deadly this would be. You have to pull the goalie in this situation, right? You pull the goalie. It's 6-on-4 or 6-on-5. You have Bastion, assuming Bastion's back. Hughes, Hischier, Bratt. And would you put Dougie and Severson at the point?
On 6-on-4?
Because
we got to see if Severson's even going to be here.
Yeah, that's true too. But
I think it also depends on the situation. If it's 6-on-4, you're down by a goal, and it's Game 7. I'd probably put Marino out there because I do want to be. But I'd probably put Siegenthaler out there just because he's left-handed. Just because you want to be. Man, I like Marino's offensive game so much better than Siegenthaler's, but I don't want to put two right-handed defensemen out there. You do have to be cognizant that, if there's a minute 10 left, you could stop a shorthanded empty net goal and still run it all the way back and score with 40 seconds or 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
So you don't want to overload it and then get screw yourself. But yeah, that's why I wouldn't put Severson out there.
I'm looking at so far this season. I think Severson's held in the puck from the blue line pretty well with some of those tricky plays. When the puck comes out, he's been pretty good. I think the Devils mostly have been pretty good. Marino's been pretty good at that when he was playing.
Been really good at that.
Yeah, but I think it's important to have that presence in front of the crease if you're going to sustain pressure, because I'll tell you can't move Bastion. You really can't move him, and he does his job well in front of the goaltender. He's a distraction,
Yeah, and he does more than that. He is the distraction is great, but he's so quick at the turnaround and play the rebound, and the Devils don't have anybody who just has that skill set. Bastion is a unicorn, and it's wild that they got him for free. They got him back for free.
I didn't want him to go to begin with.
Yeah, and I think we had this, not an argument, but we had this discussion where I said, I don't know who else you're going to, protect or who you not protect. Because I don't think they protected McLeod either, right?
No, I think McLeod was protected.
Oh, was he really?
I think he was.
McLeod's having a rough season. He's having a rough stretch. He had a good start to the season. But he just has this cloud over him of Hockey Canada that's going to be there the whole day, the whole year until it gets resolved. Whether he's on there or not, it's going to be there until it gets resolved. And I think because, his fall in play, and again, this isn't, I'm not here to measure guilt or innocence. That's not my job. But it is to point out the fact that the latest update in that investigation coincides with his play falling off a cliff. I don't know if causation equals correlation, but I do know that is the fact. That his play fell off in the middle of December, and that was the latest update we got from it. So, and if he's innocent, Sam, this is a lot. This is a lot to deal with as a person whose lawyer is telling you not to say anything when you know you didn't do anything wrong. It's also a lot if he's a terrible person and he did do this. So it's a lot if none of it's true. All of this is a lot to handle as a professional sports athlete. So, but taking that away, he's also not been good. He was the third star yesterday, and he did not deserve that. He had 2 assists that I don't remember him really helping on. I don't remember him helping Boquist or Mercer on their goals, but he got the 2 assists. But he was out of position. He was not playing well. He hasn't played particularly well for a while. And maybe it also coincides with the Bastian injury. Maybe he really just needs Bastian to get the best out of him, because he just hasn't been that good without him.
Well,
You made me worry. I froze there.
no, I'm just thinking out loud, looking at all the, I've been reading all the messages on YouTube Live and Facebook Live and Twitter Live. Somebody asked me, just going to look at it on Twitter. I want to address that. Give me 1 second. Somebody asked me, what's his name? Jeremy P. At NJ666 in FL. Sam, are you surprised that Casey? No, are you surprised that Fitzy up Casey today? Basically, he's meaning didn't pick him up.
What do you mean pick him up?
Off of waivers? Casey Fitzgerald?
Oh.
Went to Panthers, I believe.
Well, so the Panthers have a higher priority pick than us.
Yeah, and plus reunited with his cousin, Matthew Tkachuk. You didn't know this?
Yeah. I didn't pay attention to waivers today.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, but the Panthers have a much higher priority than us. So the Devils maybe did put in a waiver for him, a waiver claim for him, but
yep.
We'll never know because the Panthers are higher than us. The same thing happened with who was the good player that came up a couple days ago or maybe last week, and he went to the Kraken. The Kraken have a higher waiver priority than us. So you'll never know if they get picked or not.
Yeah, you never know. But it would have been nice to have him just for sentimental, but he's also a feisty kid. And I like his beefalytics. Pound for pound. Casey Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I mean, he's a decent player. I don't know if he's great. The Sabres in a weird spot because they're having one of those Sabres seasons where they win 4, lose 4, win 4, like win 2, lose 3. Like they just can't get like in a consistency. And like the games are against it doesn't matter who's on the schedule. They'll lose to the Flyers, Avalanche, and Panthers, and then beat the Bruins and the Devils. Like nothing makes sense. So Sabres that's who he was on, right? He was on the Sabres?
Yeah, he was on the Sabres.
Yeah.
Sabres organization. Dave Singer says Casey Fitzgerald is not very good. I'm talking about beefalytic standpoint. Feisty kid. I like feistiness.
And they need a little bit of that. But then you got to worry about when Bastian does come back. It's kind of a copied asset. And then you kind of have to – then you got to put your can you put your son on waivers?
Yeah, let's be frank here. I don't want Casey Fitzgerald on the team. I mean, for a PR standpoint, yeah, it would be nice and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I do like his feistiness and beefalytics and all that. But you know what? It's got to be weird if your dad's the GM.
Yeah.
Like, how do you negotiate? He knows everything about you. Be like, look, I know what you did when you were 3 years old. You want me to leak that out?
Yeah. It's going to tell the papers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want a $10 million contract? Well, You went to bed until you were 6 years old.
Yeah, or I'd be the corrupt GM, be like, son, I'll give you a $10 million cap hit, but I need something back in my bank account a little later.
Casey, you gotta buy your mother a Beamer. I've been watching The Sopranos, so now everything's Bob related.
Really? What season are you at?
I'm still in the first one.
Oh, so let me tell you about Sopranos, my story with The Sopranos. So I never watched an episode, and then I had knee surgery around 2005. Actually, I got hurt because of hockey. So I had knee surgery, and I was laid up. I wasn't supposed to move for at least like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I had to keep my leg elevated and all that. So it was actually the Tommy John surgery for a knee. Okay. Basically, I broke the bone behind the kneecap. It was like a rare injury, and the bone was floating around, so they had to take that out and then take cartilage from one part of the knee and transplant it where the bone broke off. And just happened that only 4 doctors in the United States could do that surgery. One happened to be in Morristown, New Jersey, Dr. Hurley.
Oh, so you're done by me.
No, Morristown, not Morristown.
Sorry.
Yeah, they don't have good doctors.
New Jersey got bad towns like that where they sound exactly the same.
Or they've got like 15 Washington, New Jerseys, apparently.
Washington Township, Washington
Borough of Washington, great guy, first president of the United States. Anyway, so my buddy, remember it was 2005, came over, said hello, be like, you're going to need this. I was like, what's that? Gave me a gift basket of all Sopranos DVDs from episode 1 and it was still an ongoing thing. I think I had the first 5 seasons. Nick, when you're on painkillers and you're just sitting there watching Sopranos episode after Sopranos episode, I wanted to kill somebody. I literally wanted to kill and then I started talking like Tony Soprano. It was bad. Yeah. I was kind of like, I'm going to whack them. Yeah. I wanted to whack people. Anyway.
No whacking people.
Yeah.
I mean, my last name, everybody can see what my last name is. Very Italian last name, and it's a little too close to mobster activities there, so I gotta watch myself.
Yeah. Well, we could talk off air. We were talking about this on Devils After Dark, that we should have the Let's Go Devils podcast, Devils After Dark, explicit.
Oh, geez.
It'll be a pay gate to get in. $29.99 just to hear us swear and tell you.
That just reminds me. That's
completely
so 90s.
Unfiltered. Completely
that's
unfiltered.
So 90s.
I know it is.
But
that's why
I watched the Miss Cleo documentary. I was like, oh man, the 90s. 90s are wild.
Are you talking about that psychic?
Yeah.
I got a story about a psychic. Not to get off the rails here, but years ago, my parents bought me a beeper. Cheaper by the beeper. Just to keep tabs on me, Hey, call home. There was always that 911 or, whatever. So, and then I was at a lacrosse game, and somebody went into the locker room and went into everybody's wallets. It sucked.
Dude, that happened all the time. That was so terrible.
Yeah, but they stole my beeper. And I was scared because, being a 15, 16-year-old kid, I'm like, I'm going to get myself in trouble. But why would you get yourself in trouble? But I don't know. That's just how a kid thinks. So I actually called one of these psychics, 1-900 numbers to find out who stole my beeper. And then, you know what I got out of it? After 5 minutes, not only did I spend more money than I needed to and got in trouble for that, but this person was just such full of baloney that anyway. Yeah, that's what happens when your Devils are in second place right now, and now we're off the rails on that. But yeah, so I actually did that, and I still remember the conversation, but I'm not going to. God bless you.
Sorry.
Wow. Do you want me to go full screen on myself so you could do some repairs? Hold on a sec.
Yeah, mute me for 2 seconds.
Hold on a sec. I don't have. All right. You go right ahead. I will take over the controls here. I'll go full screen on myself. Hold on. I can't even find my full screen. Oh, here we go. All right. So, folks, how are you? I am stalling right now. Nick Villano, he is, I don't know, he's blowing his nose right now, taking his time. It's okay, I can see him on the camera, but you can't. Max says, at Sam, and gullible is written on the ceiling. Yeah, I swear to you. I think we were talking about Ms. Cleo that I actually called one of those 1-900 numbers with a prepaid calling card or something like that. I don't know, from 7-Eleven. Trying to find out where my beeper is. You remember that term cheaper by the beeper back in the 90s?
Probably.
You know where that came from?
Where?
Amy Fisher. Remember Joey Buttafuoco? Amy Fisher, the Long Island Lolita? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember as a kid. At summer camp, I was wearing my Devils jersey. I still remember this, and I used to roll down back of the school bus at summer camp, yelling "Free Amy Fisher" throughout Manhattan. When we used to go on a camp trip to like Shea Stadium or something like that. But anyway,
well, let's get back on the rails.
All right.
Because what I wanted to talk about with you is Hughes and the MVP race.
Hey, I'm gonna need to go full screen on you, but I'm listening.
Okay. This is getting a ton of steam as of late. A lot of the analytics guys, the big analytics, Dmitry Filipovic, Dom Luszczyszyn, all the big analytics people are starting to actually put Jack Hughes in that legitimate MVP Hart Trophy race. Connor McDavid is like the top guy right now because he's on pace for like something like 150 points. So I get it. But Jack Hughes is like in the next three. I'm trying to think of who the other two are. It's escaping me right now, but it's Connor McDavid and everybody else. But in that very next everybody else is Jack Hughes. And Dom Luszczyszyn of The Athletic, he put out his GSVA, one of those, that basically tells you, it's basically like the NHL version of WAR. Connor McDavid's number 1 at 3.2. Jack Hughes is 2 in the league at 3.0, just 0.2 behind McDavid. Jack Hughes is really making an incredible impact on every single game, and he's actually, like, truly, in every case of every stat, one of the best players in the league.
Okay. And you need analytics to tell you that?
So, when I look at it from my biased Devils fan point of view,
okay,
I'm like, oh, he's a phenomenal player. He's disgustingly good. But when you're like, hey, Nick, be real. Is Jack Hughes a top 5 player in the NHL? I'm like, whoa. But when you really put the numbers out there, here's what I'll say. McDavid is better. Matthews is better. Makar is better. That's the list. McKinnon and Hughes, I guess you could put McKinnon slightly better, but he's hurt, so it's kind of hard to say what he's going to be when he gets back. But sure, McKinnon is better. Who are you going to put ahead of Hughes after that? Then you're in this long range of Leon Draisaitl's, Kirill Kaprizov's, Mitch Marner's, and then you kind of put goalies in there with Shesterkin and Vasilevsky's, Kucherov, which I have Hughes quite a bit higher right now. Who else is in that conversation, Sam? Who am I missing?
Tage?
No, he's not there. He's having a great season, but I can't put him there.
I was just repeating what Dave Singer said in the YouTube live.
He said Tage?
He said Tage.
Top 10 player, Tage Thompson. Tage is having a phenomenal season. Maybe. I can't put him there, though. I can't.
I mean, everyone's saying Jason Robertson.
Oh, Jason Robertson. That's the other guy. Yeah, he's definitely up there.
I will make the case right now why Jack Hughes should be at least in the top 3. And I'll tell you a reason why. This is
talk about Hart Trophy.
Yeah, Hart Trophy. I'm not talking. I'll let you handle the numbers because you know me. I'm not a numbers guy. Okay. Why Jack Hughes? Now, originally, the first 15 games of the season, I was thinking Nico Hischier should at least get an honorable mention. But Jack Hughes has taken us to such another level. When a coach can trust your player to do 7 minutes trying to come back from behind, and they almost did it, by the way, 7 minutes of uninterrupted shift. I mean, obviously there was a timeout, all that kind of good stuff, stoppage, whatever.
Stoppages.
That says a lot there. Connor McDavid may be the best player in the world right now, but what would happen if you took Connor McDavid off of the Oilers and Jack Hughes off of the Devils? What would that look like?
I actually think the Oilers would be worse.
You think they would be worse? I don't think they're a very good team, to be honest.
No,
I think they got a lot of talent.
They're fighting for a wild card spot, right?
I mean, I don't know if they're going to even make the playoffs.
Yeah, they look like last year's Devils without Connor McDavid.
Yes, so I think, but Jack Hughes, I don't think we've seen his ceiling yet.
No.
I mean, Connor McDavid has, 75 points, 80 points? I don't even know what he has right now.
I just know he's on pace for like 150.
Yeah, he's on a ridiculous pace,
35.
which you got to give him credit for. But without trying to say be a homer, maybe Hughes isn't there yet to win the Hart Trophy, but my goodness, I mean, he's still very, very young, and he's doing it. Remember when I called him Mr. Turnover last year?
Yeah.
He cleaned up his game tremendously.
He doesn't turn the puck over that much.
Yeah.
That's the one who needs to clean up his game a little bit with the turnovers.
And last night on Devils After Dark, I pointed out something out. We talk about the highlights, but I always look at stuff away from the play. Jack Hughes was towards maybe 75%, towards the end of his shift. So he probably had maybe 25% left. He had the puck in the neutral zone, 2 minutes left. The old Jack Hughes of last year would have tried to do something fancy schmancy, no-look drop pass, when you're up 4-3. But you know what he did? He dumped the puck in and then immediately got off the ice for reinforcements. He didn't force it. He just did the smart play, dump into the corner, flipped it up high, so buy him some time so he can get off the ice. And now that Jack Hughes is, for the most part, cleaned up his game, he also has the thief ability. I wonder what his takeaways are this season compared to McDavid's and compared to the others that are in your top 5. Because if you wouldn't mind checking that
I can
as well. But I think Jack Hughes,
he led the league 1 year, but I think it was like 2 years ago.
Was it during the COVID-shortened season?
It was either that one or the year after. I can't remember which one exactly, but it was one of those 2 years. Let's see. So,
I mean, it seems like an eternity when he was first drafted, the way he was till now. You know what? Jack Hughes, I'm telling you, the guy, one day, and we got to keep these recordings, Nick, he's going to be a 60-60 player.
60-60.
I'm telling you, he will be. I mean, he is a very, very good player. Very, very good. And if he has a monster second half, what if McDavid gets hurt? Or what happens if, McDavid is not on that pace right now? that he slows down a little bit. And Jack Hughes has a monster second half and finishes strong. Could he actually surpass McDavid?
Oh, absolutely.
But some of these voters, do you know who votes for the Hart Trophy? The writers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the credentialed writers.
The media.
Yeah, the media, which, again, I've had beef with the media since, the Devils were winning cups in the mid-'90s. Are they going to evolve quickly and vote for Jack Hughes because they have McDavid stuck in their heads for a while now? I don't know.
So McDavid has 38 takeaways. Hughes only has 30. So it's not Hughes' best year when it comes to takeaways. But I also think he's being executed differently. Actually, this is at all strengths. Let me see what it is at 5v5. Just because it's I don't think he's doing many takeaway. I don't know how much.
He's definitely not doing as much this year than previous years. But who knows? Maybe we'll turn it on.
Let's see. All right. So when you take out the power play and penalty kill, he's 21st in the league he's tied for 20th in the league with takeaways with 27. McDavid is tied. So they have the same exact. They both have 27 takeaways at even strength.
Wow.
It's weird because McDavid's having a very. I mean, he's still a superstar, don't get me wrong, at even strength. He's also played, which is weird because Jack Hughes has played a lot of minutes, but McDavid has played 46 more minutes than Jack Hughes at 5v5. He has one whole extra game, so, that's probably 20 of those minutes, but I thought that they would be a little bit more on pace. There's some interesting names on here. Barzal's having a really good season in takeaways. Crosby's always just really good. Do you know who's number one? The player who has the most takeaways in the league at 5v5?
Who?
Evgeny Malkin.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that, Sam.
You don't have a codec box in front of you? Isn't there a mic gain?
Oh, I gotta lower it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
How about that? Am I better?
Yeah, you sound better.
Okay.
Yeah, just to lower it a little bit. It was just crackling. It's been crackling. I should have told you 45 minutes ago, but I thought it would go away. It's okay.
I think I ran into it when I was setting it up, and I tried to adjust it back, but I probably under-adjusted. But that's okay.
It was off by a hair. It was kind of like Siegenthaler's goal. It was just got by right by a hair.
Listen, we do what we can with what we got.
Yeah.
But
whoa, you're loud again. I don't know.
I'm loud again?
Yeah. Why don't you lower it a little bit?
How about now?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. I don't get it. But anyway.
It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about it, Nick.
There.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you do live shows. We do on-air tech support. Nick's fine. I think everybody.
I'm just a loud guy.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the Sopranos that you've been watching, Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But we can do plugs, Sam. We got lots to plug on pucksandpitchforks.com right now.
Wow, we've done 45 minutes of a podcast. It's I feel like we haven't started yet.
What, you got something else to talk about?
Well, just one last thing. Beating Carolina was huge, but this West Coast swing is. You got L.A. I was looking at the standings. L.A. was at first place in the Pacific, I think. And then
First place?
I think they're in first place. Anaheim's a bottom feeder. Seattle is in the top 3, I believe, in the Pacific as well. Seattle Kraken, definitely in their second year in existence, doing very well. And San Jose, I don't know, San Jose. But if they could get by, these teams, I mean, 15-2-1. That's I think that's the best record on the road. I think the Vegas Golden Knights may have more wins, but they still have one more loss. They had total 3 losses. And
the Devils had the best road record last week, and they haven't lost on the road since. So
yeah, and the other thing too, I mean, think about it. The one that they lost was opening night. And what was the second one they lost? I mean, they did have a shootout. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how they do well on the road. I think it's because they're more focused. They've got the kumbaya, especially when their dads and mentors join them on a trip.
I do think and we talked about this last week, because that's something I wrote about last week. So, I think it's still relevant that why are the Devils that much better on the road than home? Because the numbers say they're similar. They play the similar game, but there is a luck involved with it. But there's also just they fall asleep more on their special teams, and there's a couple other factors. So go read that on pucksandpitchforks.com. But I do think that you got nothing else to do but be with your team. You don't have the distractions of home. You don't have kids. You don't have wives or girlfriends or boyfriends or friends or people asking you for tickets or people asking you for favors or come move my couch, you professional athlete, or I don't know if anybody's asking the Devils player to move right now, but you never know.
Yeah.
Maybe Ty Smith is finally coming to pick up his couch from Jack Hughes' apartment. You got all these distractions that you don't have on the road.
Yeah.
On the road, people just let you play your game. You don't have people texting you. And, and I pointed this out. I think that's part of the reason why Johnny Gaudreau didn't come to New Jersey. Because a lot of people were going to be asking him a lot of things. It's one thing to play for your favorite team growing up, the Flyers, but they didn't seem to really want him. So it's a little different. Playing for the team you hated and also having everybody ask you for everything in God's creation. So maybe there's a little bit of that. But again, Sam, I'm ready to plug whenever you're ready.
Yeah, plug away.
So pucksandpitchworks.com. Right now I have that story that we were talking about earlier. Jack Hughes should double shift on the power play. That's just how it should go. I'm going to have a story coming out soon on comparing Jack Hughes to other MVP candidates, Jason Robertson, Connor McDavid, a couple of the other ones that are going to be at the top. I got to look at the actual list. Haven't written it entirely yet, just kind of started it. But we're going to compare Jack Hughes' season to those players and kind of the narrative involved, because we don't like to talk about this, Sam, but narrative matters just about as much as anything when it comes to award season.
Yep.
Beyond that, I did write looking at the All-Star bids for Dougie Hamilton, Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, whether they deserve that fan vote. So that's on pucksandpitchforks.com. David Williams just wrote the midseason. I had to call it something else. We didn't do grades. We did like an analysis.
Progress report.
There you go. Progress report. The midseason progress report. So that's out right now on Pucks and Pitchforks. Jersey Joe just wrote about a couple different things, including the big win against Carolina, and also he wrote about the return of Bastion Marino and how important that's going to be to the team. And I told you, Vinny Parisi, I saw him in the drafts. He's writing about Dawson Mercer, how his big comeback's going to be big. And then Trey Matthews wrote about how high can Jack Hughes go. So lots of stuff. Everybody's writing, Sam. everybody's rating the pucksandpitchforks.com. Yeah.
Great. Well, except for one.
You said you were working on something. I'm
still working on it. As I'm about to get a Eric Holla autograph stick. Anyway. So I just want to tell everybody that save the date, February 25th. That could be one of the biggest days in the history of this podcast. And I hate Microsoft when they pop up the weather stuff over my controls. Now, I don't get it. Anyway, again,
are you saying you're going to move to Apple?
No, you can't, unfortunately, because the software we use is only Windows-based.
Come on, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I forgot where I was at, but
February 25th, biggest day.
So just save the date. If I were you guys, I would start booking plane tickets for those that live out of state. It's time we have a 500,000 party. So we'll figure that out. I mean, we still got time to plan.
$500K.
Yeah. Party, for 7 p.m. Eastern start. I think that's when it starts for the game. We'll start at 1 p.m. and then we'll have a viewing party at the bar for those that didn't get tickets to go inside. It'll be amazing. Dave Singer says he's in.
Let's go, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the most amazing party. It's probably going to be disorganized, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have so much fun, we're not going to even realize it.
It's going to be fun.
Anyway, I want to thank all those listening, dropping the podcast at midnight. Just remember to go to pucksandpitchforks.com. Greatest Devil's Blog website I've seen on the internet. I promise that we'll have the bumper music next week.
I don't believe you.
That's okay. Just get a guest for next week, and I'll have a great bumper. And if you haven't seen it already, Emily Kaplan did something very, very nice about the New Jersey Devils. Yes, Emily Kaplan, who has been on this podcast as well. Go see that, ESPN.com. Till next time, let's go Devils.